Tēnā koutou, ko Emily toku ikawa, no mai haere mai ki whare tonga o Otago. Hi everyone, my name's Emily. I'm an educator here at Otago Museum, and welcome to the museum today. Today I'm going to show you around the fossil section of our gallery, Southern Lands, Southern People. Now, a fossil is the remains or impression of a living organism from the past that has been preserved and petrified in rock. And we can have four main types of fossil. We can have a mold fossil, which is when an organism's body has left an impression in the ground and that impression has turned to rock. We can have a cast fossil, which is when minerals come in and they fill up that imprint, and that becomes the fossil, that hardens to rock. We can have trace fossils, which are traces that an organism might leave behind, like footprints and eggs and even feces. And we can have true form fossils, which is when an organism's body gets preserved by minerals coming in and replacing the body itself and turning them to rock. I've got a few examples here to show you to give you a better idea. Alright, I've taken four fossils out to show you here. So over on this side, we've got two really cool examples of trace fossils. These three pieces in the front here, they are three fragments of eggshell. And you can see how there's a thin layer, that's the eggshell, and then this is the rock it's attached to. Over here, I'll give you a second to figure out what this might be. This is a coprolite, which is fossilized feces. So a coprolite is just a fancy word for fossilized poop. Now over here we've got two cool true form fossils. So this one, pretty obvious what this one is. This is a fish. This one's 45 million years old. And you can see how it's been preserved in this layer of sediment. And this one you might recognize. This one is called a Trilobite. They're really common in the fossil record because there used to be so many of them. And this is the oldest of these fossils. This is 440 million years old. Trilobite fossils can date all the way back to the Cambrian period and the Cambrian explosion, which was about 541 million years ago. The Cambrian explosion was when there was a massive expansion in the number of different kinds of living things in the world's oceans. A trilobite is an arthropod, so it's related to insects and arachnids like spiders and scorpions, and myriapods like centipedes and crustaceans. But there aren't any trilobites around anymore. So those other arthropods are their living relatives. Over behind these four fossils, we've got some sedimentary rocks on display. And these rocks are the kind of rocks that you will most often find fossils in because of the way that they are formed. And if we come around here, this sandstone gives us a really nice idea of how sedimentary rocks and fossils form. So here you can see there are three distinct layers to this rock. Sedimentary rocks are formed when sediment builds up in layers, and that happens most frequently at the bottom of the ocean and other watery environments. And what happens is, as lots and lots of layers build up, those layers further down eventually are under a lot of weight and pressure, and they harden to rock. And when organisms get trapped in between those layers, they can become fossils. So imagine a fish swimming along, it dies, sinks to the bottom of the ocean, and then if its body can become quickly covered with a layer of sediment, it will be preserved. And then as more layers build up on top, they get heavy, A lot of pressure hardens to rock, just like all of these snails and shellfish have been preserved in this layer. So this is a whole layer of shell fossils.